have served presidents and congressmen and senators for years and everybody in between. And now you're doing the same thing here, just a block from the ocean.
Well, this is true. So I said one time, listen, I don't date customers. And his response to me was, don't worry, I'm not going to be buying anything from Cisco, so I'm not really a customer. So let's go out. I was kind of laughing. I think there's a huge desire for elevated dining because the demand is here. Because, after Sandy happened, you had a huge wave of New Jersey people moving here. Then during COVID, you had a huge wave of DMV people leaving DC and coming here.
Yeah.
Once they come over the bridge, everybody's blood pressure drops.
Right.
And they definitely are very different people. I have customers that I see on a Saturday night here, and then we all drive back to DC for whatever's happening, and then I see him on a Wednesday in a business meeting, I'm like, ooh,
Yeah,
you'd never know what he was like
Right.
last weekend.
Right.
When you open, what you come out of the gate with is what sticks with you for
Right.
a very long time. Well, this was supposed to be a food truck. We never thought to open a restaurant in Rehoboth.
Welcome back to Down to the Beach. I'm Andy Staten, and today's guest has served senators and presidents just blocks from the White House, and now she's serving locals and tourists just steps from the ocean. Ellen Kassoff co-owns the Federal here in Rehoboth and Equinox on 19th in Washington, D.C., alongside her husband, Todd, a partnership that started with a sales call to a young cook. So let's get down to the beach. Please welcome Ellen Kassoff. Ellen,
Thank you for having me.
thank you so much for being here.
Nice
I'm
to
so
be here.
excited that you're here.
Me too.
At one of my favorite restaurants in town, so I'm
Thank
glad
you.
that you're here.
Thank you.
And we're just going to get into it. So you have served presidents and congressmen and senators for years and everybody in between. And now you're doing the same thing here, just a block from the ocean.
Well, this is true. I mean, DC is a company town, and our industry is politics. So when the factory workers come in, we serve.
Okay.
We have a very strict don't ask, don't tell policy.
Of course.
So I never give up the goods, especially when they're dining in there. It takes several years later, I will. But and the same with Rehoboth, also a company town, and our mission here is to serve our visitors in season and our locals mostly in off season. Not a lot of locals come down in July and August, but that's okay. We have two very distinct audiences here. I love it because the off-season folks are so different than the summertime folks. And then, of course, you have your shoulder season where things like going on in town like Jazz Fest and all the different dog parades at the beach every weekend, Sea Witch Festival. So Rehoboth is becoming a, 52-week. Is that how many weeks there are in a year?
52,
Okay.
Exactly right.
52-week kind of seasonal town. So it's nice to see. It's nice to see to be open year round, yes. But yeah, DC has been a very high wire act for a very long time. We've seen a lot in our position. A lot of change in DC, just like we're seeing a lot of change here in Rehoboth.
Yeah.
Culinarily speaking, it's growing and there's more interest. I think most chefs maybe don't come here like they would go to Philadelphia or New York or DC first because it's year round. It's hard to adjust to a resort town mentality because you really have to make almost a year's worth of money in about 90 days.
Yeah, 4 or 5
so
months.
It's like an anvil, like the
at the
second
most.
June, July, August, and September. So, but Rehoboth has done a great job, bringing out the season and making, like I mentioned before, activities and things for people to do.
Sea Witch, Chocolate Festival, Santa Crawl. Now we're seeing all these things that are blowing up in the off season that people then get hungry. They want to.
Jazz Fest is amazing. Yes, and so but the summer crowd is really where the bones of it are. So that's a big adjustment from DC, which really July and August in DC are very quiet because they all come here. So it's nice. What customers we don't see in DC, we see them out here.
Yeah.
So they're opposite seasons, which is nice because when it's quieter here, DC's cranked up.
Right. And so I've actually done several videos on social media that talks about, are we becoming or are we the Culinary Coast. And I'm using that now. I'm calling us the Culinary Coast. We have a rising tide
Oh
of
yeah, they
delicious
trademarked that.
restaurant here's and food that is elevated and moving quickly
The
forward,
heart
right?
is definitely here. I think there's a huge desire for that elevated dining because the demand is here. Because, after Sandy happened, you had a huge wave of New Jersey people moving here. Then during COVID, you had a huge wave of DMV people leaving DC and coming here.
Yep.
And these are baby boomers who the demographic was on the fence about retiring or not. They all had second, third, fourth homes here. They came and stayed. So those people, from the Jersey metropolitan area, the DC metropolitan area, like you say, nobody's really from Rehoboth. I mean, there's a few, but most of them aren't restaurateurs. But they're bringing with them their desire for really good food. So
That's
I
right.
think that chefs or whatever company is opening a restaurant, they feel safer now that there will be more demand for food of the next level, sit down. I'm not going to say white tablecloth dining, but we could get there. And
Yep.
I think the demand's there. I also think another thing, honestly, that's helping a lot is Uber.
Yeah.
People, like when we first opened, even 6 years ago, Uber was not really a thing in Rehoboth. There was not a lot. Neither was Instacart, to my dismay. I'm such an Instacart girl. And Uber has helped a lot that I've noticed, because I know that my clientele would definitely like to have a couple glasses of wine, whatever. And they were afraid to drive before because the police are doing their job and keeping our roads safe. So that means you walk to a restaurant. And a lot of people are too far to walk either way. But now with Uber, they don't have to deal with parking. They can have a couple of drinks and just not worry about driving home. So that's really been the biggest increase for us in terms of people's ability to get out. People from Bethany are like, oh, thank goodness, I can take an Uber. I have to tell people now. And it also helps a lot of people who are driving for Uber in the summertime.
There's great restaurants here in Lewis, and
Right.
and
There sure
I think
is.
I visited all of them.
But
It's a
wanted to open in
destination.
Lewis.
It's
Yes.
a destination rather than
Yes.
making a decision to do that. And so, but you guys nominated for collectively 5 James Beard Foundation Awards, right?
Yep.
How do you and Chef Todd, right, widely recognized as you come here, you're a monster in a small community.
I think we're still thought of as interlopers, but okay.
Okay, I think that's fair, but there's a lot of those, by the way.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those that are opening restaurants that could be considered that. But you're right. I think the Federal has kind of a unique identity, but
a lot of people still have never heard of us.
Right.
There's not. We do all the social media you can do, and they still have not heard of us. People are in their track. They come and they know, like we love Henlopen City Oyster House. When we were just coming here, we would go there. That's where we went. That was in our track.
Yeah.
It's hard to get people to change their traditions of coming to the beach and trying something new. It's been a 6-year.
And those guys were Sir guys, right? Joe and
they're also from the DC area.
And they're from the DC area, right? And they
too were interlopers.
That's right, but we're all interlopers, right? We all moved here at some point. Right?
The thing that I love to compare with Rehoboth and coming here is I'm meeting people from the region that I never met in DC before. I never met people from Chester, PA, from these little towns and counties right outside that come here. I never really met people from Philly before. They don't
go to
hang out in
DC
very
right.
much.
Correct.
Only for a Redskins game. Yes,
Yeah.
I said Redskins. Okay. Right. And a Philly game, and then nobody likes people from Philly when they're at a game, so that's fine. I love Philly.
Yeah.
Their fans are a lot, but so the regionality for us here is so much more distinct than DC. There are, like I said, summer people who come, or even just winter weekends getaways with a lot of people that come from the region who wait for the summer crowds to leave and they come for a cozy fall weekend. That's been a real pleasure. I can't get over the amount of people I have don't get an opportunity to meet in DC from all areas around Baltimore, Annapolis, Philadelphia, New York, all those little towns in between. I never met these people in the restaurant before.
But from Washington to the beach, is there a difference between, those coming from the suits and ties and now they're wearing shorts and flip-flops, right? Like, do they treat people differently?
Yes.
Are
The
they easier to
attitude,
serve, right?
those high-powered people,
They just let it go.
once they come over the bridge, everybody's blood pressure drops.
Right.
And they definitely are very different people. I have customers that I see on a Saturday night here, and then we all drive back to DC for whatever's happening, and then I see him on a Wednesday in a business meeting. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah,
you'd never
different.
know what he was like
Right,
last weekend.
right.
He was having a good time, and then it's like a wink, wink, nod, nod. So I love seeing people in their professional lives and then in their family lives, and they're just come here. And that's what's so great about Rehoboth is that you have all these big cities around it, and people come here and really just relax. Like, they're different in traffic here, even though there's a lot of traffic here.
Yep.
It's almost like the same wait times as in DC, but they're not as uptight about it.
Yeah.
They're not honking and yelling at you and things like that. So the mentality is an automatic change once you come over that bridge. And the same with the regionality of the place. I just, smaller counties and towns around DC, non-existent. Here, I meet so many. It's really nice.
I mean, they come
It's
from
really,
Milton,
really nice.
right?
Yeah.
12 miles away.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's
they come
our
from
biggest.
Lewis, 4 miles.
Right. Right. That's considered, out of the country now.
So now the discussion of the elevated food scene. How did you and Todd, maybe more Todd on the food side, how'd you decide what would be the genre? Because it was the federal fritter, right? Right. And on your menu at the very top
to be a Rehoboth
is
Beach restaurant.
you serve fritters, right?
Right.
I mean, but now it's called the federal.
And that was a hard one to shake because when you open, what you come out of the gate with is what sticks with you for a very long time. Well, this was supposed to be a food truck. This was not. We never thought to open a restaurant in Rehoboth.
Because you kind of opened the space the space you're in now was food truck-ish before. It was kind of Mexican, Tex-Mex, tacos and things of that nature, right?
Narrow.
It's long and narrow.
It's
but you've made it work.
It's
with a menu
space
that you've made
it's
coastal.
Evolved. Yeah, it very much evolved.
So talk to me through the food menu.
So we started out as called the Federal Fritter because that was the truck. My plan, our son went off to school, and I didn't have kids partying in my basement anymore, so I could go. Restaurants were under control. We've done several other projects in DC. I wanted to go to Coachella, Burning Man, all the music festivals. Big fans of music and festivals. And back in the day, at a Grateful Dead show, you could sell hummus and pita in the parking lot and raise money to get Miracle and get a ticket and go in, right? So that's our mentality, born in the 60s, right? So that's what I was going to do. I had the truck being designed, filling out all the paperwork. Like, you didn't just roll up to Coachella and start selling, even back then. It's a whole different scene now, but it was emerging, one of the biggest emerging festivals. But I was just enthralled with the whole idea. Whereas my husband was like, you take the dogs, you can drive out there, I'll fly and meet you. And
right. I'll drop in for the 5 days, I'm going back to the restaurant.
And I had like the whole tiny house idea in my head. And I was talking to a really cool food truck company in the Midwest who was like, putting some plans together and everything, getting ready to get deposits out, all the applications filled out. So I have pictures of us even standing in front of the restaurant Equinox on Connecticut Avenue, handing out fritters just to see what the street value was, Jay Leno style. Hey, what do you think of this? Man on the street kind of thing. So we were giving out fritters, getting a great response. A week later, COVID hit. So you know what happened to all your plans during COVID.
No food truck.
Especially with concerts and festivals.
Yeah, of course.
Burning Man canceled. Coachella canceled.
We didn't know how long that would last, right? It could have been 5 years,
idea.
right?
And then DC started, there was riots and all this crazy stuff. So we had a condo in Lewis back then that we would just come to on the weekends. We were big fans of bike riding. The Henlopen State Park was our.
And you did what everybody else did. You left the city, right? You
left the city. Yeah, we're thankful to have our little condo on Savannah, and took the dogs, and we just spent the entire first part of COVID in Cape Henlopen State Park, and it was awesome. We were literally like on the beach, like conducting business under a tent. I was like, hey, well, it's what everybody else is doing. Like,
Yeah.
so while the world was shut down, we were here. And I remember one night we were at Irish Eyes, and you could bring your dogs to Irish Eyes. And I overheard a real estate person talking about this available space that person, Leo, who was the owner, wanted out. Like, COVID flipped out a lot of people for obvious reasons. Well, and I have two German Shepherds with me, so I could talk to anybody, and I was eavesdropping clearly.
Yeah, right.
So I did. And she showed us the space, and I was like, well, this is a perfect federal fritter. It's right on the beach, Thrasher's fries, snack food, like beach food, something like day. It's going to be like a daytime thing, and grab a cone of fritters, walk to the boardwalk, take it to the beach. Because it was not just for a music festival truck, but also college towns, ski towns, lake towns. Just, my son calls them the drunchies, drunk munchy food. They're fun. They're easy, right?
Yeah, and delicious.
So I wasn't even going to apply for a liquor license because I thought we'd just be like, roll it up like, in the wintertime and leave. Well, and you couldn't even go past the front desk when we first opened because we weren't going to have seating. It wasn't going to have, it was just going to be fritters. One thing led to another. My husband kept walking through and like, we need to add this. We need to add, next thing you know, we're doing lunch.
Right.
In the next year. People still come into this day. Aren't you guys just fritters? I'm like, wow. We changed. We just evolved. It went organically and naturally. There was zero business plan for this. We're just doing what we know how to do and what we love to do, which is create a memorable dining experience and be hospitalians. There's food service and there's hospitality. We are hospitality.
Right.
There's a big difference.
There is a big difference. No, there's such a big difference, right?
There's a lot of food service around here, but there's not a lot of hospitality.
No, listen, I mean, I choose to do business with people that I have a good experience with, right?
Sure.
I mean, there can be places that
plenty of
have
that,
absolutely amazing food and what was the soup Nazi, right? On
Right.
Seinfeld,
No
right?
soup for
Like,
you.
yeah, no soup for you. Like, if I go into a place and I don't feel like it was a good experience, I'm out.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it starts with the hospitality,
Right.
right? I know you probably know the statistics. It's something like people that go to a restaurant have an amazing experience are still only 60% going to come back.
Yeah.
Or 40% going to come back.
Yes.
If you do it again and again after
Yes.
3 times, then you got them, right?
And a lot of restaurateurs don't pay attention to those, enough attention to, we also have a rule, and we've always had this in sales. It's the 80-20 rule. 80% of your business comes from 20% of your customers. So we do a lot of catering.
Guilty.
Right. I mean, once you find a place, though, you might, if a place doesn't strike you, you're like, oh, yeah, I'd go back sometime. Like maybe if your friends said, hey, we're going here, and I'd be like, all right, it wasn't, too bad. But if you find a place you like, then you're the one jockeying your friends to go there. No, we're going to go to this place. Let's go to this. So you're the one bringing them in. Those are the, people. That's the 20% that is bringing in 80% of your business. And we recognize that.
What is the thing that you're most proud of the food? I mean, you could have 10 things or one thing you're like, we killed this thing.
Well, you know what I'm proud of is that we've changed our menu so often.
Okay.
So and I'm proud.
That's hard.
Yeah, and I'm proud of the fact that our chef de cuisine, Andrew Guffey, my husband, Chef Todd Gray, he's back and forth a lot, which is, I'm so grateful for Andrew because he is a phenomenal cook, great cook, and great ideas, and together we all collaborate. But the nice thing is that we do get to change whenever we want. We don't have to go through layers of management or anything to get a menu change. We just go in the back and print a new menu.
Right.
So what I'm most proud of is that we cook with ingredients that we find to be excellent, and the season changes, then we change with it. So you'll always find something different, but you'll also find some things that will always be on the menu, and you ask for it. So our gnocchi is house-made seafood gnocchi, so it has all kinds of seafood in it. Wintertime, you'd find different seafood in it than you would in the summertime. Obviously, things are in season. But that base of that gnocchi, we can't ever take that off the menu. It's house-made. It's a ricotta gnocchi. It's hand-rolled. So my husband spent, 7 years with an Italian chef.
I mean, I have the last time I was there.
Yes.
Yeah.
You had the gnocchi?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah, last time I was there.
It's delicious.
It's like for me, if I go to another restaurant in town, if they take the fried green tomatoes off, I'm not going back.
Right.
I had a restaurant
Right.
take off their cheeseburgers. Like, egg rolls, cheesesteak egg rolls. I'm like,
Never heard
I,
of such a thing.
I only came here for that.
Right. That's what you
Right?
want. Right.
I came here
right,
for that.
Right.
And you
That's
took
what-
that, like, and they're like,
then-
it was our most popular appetizer.
Right.
We took it off. I'm like,
right.
how do you introduce people to the community?
Of Coastal Delaware.
Yeah, of Coastal Delaware.
Yeah. A lot of our friends were like, "What are you guys doing?"
Yeah.
Like, we didn't leave DC yet.
Right.
You know, I love introducing people to Coastal Delaware because I come from a mindset of being outside all the time whenever I can, rain or shine. That's just what I've come from in my life. And we originally, well, in 1968, my dad would take all 4 of us kids and my mom in a 1968 camper van, Volkswagen van, and we would camp on the beach. He would not get us a hotel. He was one of the first purchasers of a plot in Ocean Pines.
Wow.
So Army issue green tents.
Oh my goodness. Like,
And we would camp.
A-frame.
Yes, I have a picture. We would camp, here. So I grew up with a mindset of being outside. I guess that's what you do when you have 4 kids and 3 of them are boys, and then there's
Well, I
me.
mean, maybe you
know,
don't
he
have all
would
the
take us
resources that you
skiing and,
want.
like,
Right. Like, you make it work.
Get outside. So the biggest, the big projects like Rails to Trails here, the bike connecting Georgetown to Lewis basically
Huge.
was huge.
Yeah.
And we watched a lot of it being built during COVID. Actually, I literally have railroad ties and trestles that I took from, because these historic railroad that went through Lewis.
Yeah.
And now
They were
I
pulling
grabbed
up
it.
to make trails.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
so I grabbed some of them, and now they're like plant stands and stuff. But the outdoor opportunity and life here is when my friends come and I introduce them to Coastal Delaware. We are on the Cape, in the Cape State Park. Those state parks are just the best.
They're the biggest.
They are the best.
They're
biggest.
a gem that a lot of people don't know about. I mean, it
Good.
is a staple
Don't
of my.
tell 'em.
It's a staple of my conversation. Like, you have no
Don't tell 'em.
idea
Yeah,
of what you have here.
I mean, we take our Jeep on the beach, or like I showed my niece the beach club up in right over the bridge. She's going to have her rehearsal dinner there. I mean, the state parks here. Thank you, President Biden, for Henlopen. Most of that was because of him. Thank you. And the cool World War II bunkers there. But so that is the place I take people first. I make it mandatory for all my J1s who come and work here to go to the Cape, walk the trail.
Right, there's a trail, walk to Lewis and back.
Before
right?
you work
Yeah,
here, because you have to know where you are. A lot of times they just get caught up in going to bars and restaurants after work and working and they work like 1,000. I'm like, if you're going to come here and visit, go see what we have. And the Cape and the park, the state park system here is just the best. And I come from DC, where I have Rock Creek Park.
Yeah, of course.
We have an incredible trail system, and we've, for as long as we've been married, we lived in DC, and we've never lived more than a mile from the park, always a stipulation. So leaving Lewis was a little tough to be so far from the park going to Rehoboth, but the commute during the summer was, but anyway, so that park is where I take people 100%. When they want to see Coastal Delaware, I make it mandatory also for my staff to experience.
Yeah, I try to get all my house guests to do the same thing.
Yes, got to go to the park.
Yeah, here's 2 bikes. Here's 2 bikes in my garage. They're not any bikes. You can take these bikes and go right into the park.
And the trail is amazing, and then the whole connector that they did through the marshes, and I mean, I'm still in awe. I must have ridden it, I don't know how many thousands of times, but still, like, every hour of every day there's something different. It looks different. The sun hits it differently. The water's at a different, the tides are different. The birds are different. Like, I love the migratory birds here, and also I love seeing. I'm one of those people who go to the beach and flip the horseshoe crabs over.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like one of those. I know.
Yeah.
Does that surprise you?
No, we could dig into the whole horseshoe crab thing and the epic event that happens every year, and how they count them.
It's
and
amazing.
People fly here from around the world to see this process.
Well, they're also medically used now for.
All right, so this question is all yours, or this one's all yours. Tell us what's new at the Federal, anything on the menu, on the calendar, and how people can find you.
Well, we did put a fried green tomato on the menu. I know I'm gonna have to bring you some, Andy.
I might come on Friday or Saturday. We'll see.
You know, I am a baker, so I've put 2 desserts on the menu of my own: a
Okay.
pineapple upside down cake and a rum cake that came from the first restaurant that my husband worked at in Fredericksburg, Virginia, in the '80s, and it's still on their menu today. His chef mentor was one of the first, gave me the recipe because it's an infamous cake. So those are new on the menu. We have a spirit dinner series that we do once a month starting in September, and we invite a craft spirit, and we do a 4-course dinner, and we have a great time. So once a month. So I'm getting ready to put that calendar together, and that's a big off-season thing. And I've noticed that we've been doing it for 6 years that people they wait religiously for it. They put it on their calendar, because dining is not just about being satiated anymore. It's about being entertained. It's about ambiance. You know, you go out to dinner for so much more than just the food now. The music has to be right, the lighting, the location. I think we hit on all those notes. I'm very proud of our music in there. It's curated playlists that I think with this restaurant, Todd and I just did what we would want to eat at and where we would feel comfortable. And I know you asked me about new stuff, so I'll back to that point. It will be the spirit dinner things, and we're always changing the menu. But I think we're just doing what we would want to do ourselves, and we want the Federal to feel like a living room.
Okay.
You know, we know it's small. I get it. I've had, I don't know how many offers to move to a bigger space.
Well, that was actually I didn't want to lead into that question, but I mean, is this it?
People ask me all the time.
Right?
I will never say never.
Yeah.
I love catering.
But dog ears are coming, right?
I don't know.
Okay, fair.
I
good.
mean, we didn't think we were going to do this. This wasn't in the plans
And
either.
where can we
It's a
find-
happy accident.
And where can we find you today?
We are at 62A, Rehoboth Avenue A, being because it's an old house basically that was brought over on a truck from Bethany.
Okay.
Way back in the 70s. There used to be the hallway basically that the fritter is in used to be the alleyway between Baltimore and Rehoboth Avenue. I mean, I still have people come back and say, I used to play basketball in this alley. So they kept part of this alley. That's where the puppy runs now. And I also put a garden in there. We call it Narrow Alley Farms.
Okay.
So you can find that a lot of the mint or whatever that's in your drinks are on. I actually have to shout out to Bob from Rehoboth Foodie. He's the one who named that Narrow Alley Farms. So that's there, and we are right in between like Sullivan's Candy and the Toy and Kite store and the sunglass store. We're set back, which is why so many people miss us. Actually, we started out with a black awning because like I'm all DC, like, oh, everything's black, you know.
Right.
And
now it's hot pink.
5 years later, no, it's turquoise blue, because nobody could find us. Like there was just too much. Like we are set.
It's a unique location.
Back.
I mean, you have to know.
It's a challenging.
You've got to know where the location is, right?
You have to know.
I mean, I was there
definitely a destination.
2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and I was like,
People
okay,
walk right
I know it's Ocean Block.
No.
I know it's Ocean Block. I know it's on the right. I know it's after like First Street Station or whatever. But
directly across from Back Porch Cafe, which I think is
nobody knows.
So not I know nobody but they do. They're still around 30 years later.
Yeah.
You know, and
I think they're moving on 40 because the Blue Moon just hit 30.
Wow.
Yeah, so I
See,
think
it can happen.
they're closer to 40
Longevity
to 50 years, right? They've been around for a very long time.
I don't know if I'll be around.
I think it's the oldest fine dining restaurant.
Yeah,
I believe it's the oldest fine dining restaurant in downtown Rehoboth.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it's
definitely. I mean, and they're lovely. It was sold and bought
by the employees.
Yes, and they're lovely, lovely people. So we love being across the street from them because we're like both trying to do the same thing.
Yeah,
and they.
And I think you both apply that personal level of service.
Yeah.
Right. I feel similar when I walk in.
I want you to feel like you're walking.
I can name 5 others that I don't.
Right. Well, it's hard because you have to, as an owner, be on site to make it have the feeling you want it to have. Your employees aren't going to do that for you because they don't know.
Yeah.
They understand and they know where you like the lighting levels and what music you want on and all that, but there's no replacing the person who knows you at the front door or understands you or knows you from home or whatever. And for us, to do this, at our age and open something later in life, we got to have fun too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you gotta want to still go to work,
right? I don't
right?
want it to be stressful.
I do what I do because I love to work.
Right. That's why we
I
like the small
love what
space.
I do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
So.
that's why a smaller space is easier for us. Not that, that's the perfect small space, but it has its challenges, but it's manageable.
Yeah.
And I
That's
like
great.
that.
I love
And
it.
then we can do what we really want to do. If you're got 40 people seated at one time, that's really different than 150. Or doing, there's a lot of turn, burn, like just get as many people in and out, which happens a lot in a resort town, which is understandable.
Right.
Totally understandable.
Yeah, you want 2 or 3 turns, unfortunately,
Right.
because you got 4 months or
Right.
whatever to make it work.
Right. But when you're turning 40 instead of 150, you have the opportunity for more personable service and more nuanced food. Labor's been a challenge here, but that's another story.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, so it's a very unique location in a unique resort town in the first state of the United States of America.
Yeah.
Hello. There
That's
you go.
right.
Okay.
The Federal producing phenomenal food.
I know, in the Federal, we're totally
with
playing
that-
on that name.
yeah.
I actually put a story in the back of the menu, like, because so many
It's a
people
great
walked
story.
in there
Yeah.
and like, how did you get here? I was like, it
Yeah.
all started with a food truck. And then the mural. Everybody wants to know about the mural because that's what we did during the pandemic when we weren't in DC, is painting on the wall.
Right.
And we just painted all of our favorite music venues and spots in DC.
Well,
and
I might come in maybe on Thursday and then
Okay.
get a little bit of B-roll,
Why
so you
not?
can have that.
Let's.
for
Oh
that.
yeah, that'd be
so,
fun.
Yeah,
Do
I'll need
it.
to come in. Maybe
I'll give you
I can
some fritters.
Maybe I can sneak into the kitchen and get some B-roll.
Definitely,
Or something like that.
they're good at that.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah,
Love
we'll
it.
make something. Like maybe we should make our gnocchi with you. If you text me and give me an hour, and I'll have it ready for whatever you. Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to. I'll just walk in.
Bring
yeah,
New Yorker here too. 'Cause we
Yeah,
gotta
I'll
see
just
that
walk
there's
in and
good
I'll
food.
just step in and
Okay.
that'll be fun.
Yeah,
so.
it'll be great. I like it.
Cool.
Okay.
That's Ellen Kassoff, co-owner of the Federal and Equinox downtown on 19th. If you've got something out of this, a reason to book a table, or a reminder that community is built on more than just a house, do me a favor and follow the show and pass it along to somebody who gets something out of it. I'm Andy Staten, and this has been Down to the Beach.